This ADHD Life is brought to you by you. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support me in other ways and continue the This ADHD Life mission and podcast, please visit thisadhdlife.com/support. Welcome to This ADHD Life. My name is Keith Griffin. I'm an ADHD and life coach and a fellow ADHDer. Last week I mentioned for Awareness Month I'd be doing a podcast every week. And you know what? This week I didn't give myself enough time to do a podcast. Well, it's not entirely true. I have about 6 minutes before I'm supposed to be on a live stream on Friday. But the thing is, I'm not beating myself up about that. And that's the theme of today's podcast. Well, there's two themes, really. One, there are times that as ADHDers, we do not get to do everything that we wish we could do or everything that we had planned to do. And yeah, sometimes that's really important stuff and things need to be changed. So if I had really intended to pay my rent on the 1st and I didn't, and I had an eviction notice on my door, that's a little bit more serious than doing a podcast, for example. Likewise, we could be thinking about doing, a great dinner for our spouse one night and things just got away from us. And so instead we take them out to dinner. There's no reason to beat ourselves up for either of those situations. I can look back at my week and I can look at what didn't I plan for that happened that caused this podcast to be delayed. And I'll be honest with you, what happened was my ADHD got in the way. I was all gung-ho for the past, 13 days now. It wasn't 13 days. For about 10 or 11 days, I've been doing videos on ADHD awareness, posting them to YouTube and Facebook each day. I'll put links down below in the show notes. But I've been doing those and I've had a lot of energy and I've done a lot of changing to the website. I've been involved with a few groups that I've been doing a lot of changes to, helping them out, coming up with ideas, attending meetings and whatnot. I have a new group coaching and support program that I'm working on for the holidays. And by about Tuesday, my brain said, no more. It used to be that I would call it sort of an ADHD crash, but it really wasn't a crash as much as a layover. It was an unplanned layover. You see, I had been really accelerating and getting up into the atmosphere and doing a lot of stuff, and I had been sort of on cruise control at a level altitude, and then all of a sudden, it was time for me to take a little break. A little breath and a break. And I found myself on Tuesday really fading fast, and I knew, Keith. It's coming. You're going to have to take Wednesday off whether or not you like it. Because our bodies will make us take time off whether or not we like it. That's the funny thing about ADHD. A lot of people think it's a disease of laziness and procrastination and not getting things done. A lot of times it's a disease of getting way too many things done at the same time and then just kind of burning out. So Wednesday was supposed to be my day for recording this episode. It didn't happen. I took a self-care day. I did very little. I did actually a bunch of organizing, to be honest with you. For whatever reason, I decided to redo my bookcase and redo my office a bit, and that was self-care enough for me that day. And yesterday is my scheduled day off, and I needed that day. Now, you could be looking at it as though I'm making excuses, but I'm not. What I'm doing is doing what I hope that my clients would do for themselves. I hope that when a client comes to me and is thinking about all the stuff that they didn't get done perfectly, or just didn't really do to their expectations, that they can give themselves a break and go, you know what? That's okay because I did all these other great things. Or that's okay. Instead of doing a 15 or 20 minute podcast, you're going to do a podcast for 5 to 6 minutes. But that's okay. At least you're doing the podcast. Wait, am I the client now? Anyway, I think I might have mentioned there were 2 topics at the start of this show. The second one is an awareness of how I work best. It's really been funny for me as I've been doing these YouTube videos. I have learned that I do not love having planning go into before I speak. And so for some reason, the YouTube videos, aside from the audio and video occasionally being out of sync, the YouTube videos have been a lot easier for me to do than this podcast. What can I learn from that? Well, who knows? Maybe I'll share that next week or in a few weeks, but it's certainly something that I'll be thinking about this weekend. About how can I learn from that? How do I want to retool This ADHD Life, the podcast? How do I want to approach it differently? And again, that's exactly the same type of thing that I would want my coaching clients to do. There might be a theme here. As I said, I will put the links down to Facebook and YouTube where you can watch all the videos down below in the show notes. I may or may not extract the audio and post them as like one big giant podcast archive. I don't know. I haven't decided. It seems like a lot of work, so it probably won't happen, but it could happen. If that's something you would like, please comment down below as well. As I said before, I'm ADHD and life coach Keith Griffin and fellow ADHDer. Happy ADHD Awareness Month. I will be back next week with a podcast of some indeterminate length. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening. Oops, one last thing. I forgot to tell you how to contact me. Visit the website, thisadhdlife.com, or you can send an email to info@thisadhdlife.com. And before you even go there, if you're asking the question, I wonder if Coach Keith has a spot for me in his practice. The answer is yes. So you can go there and book an intro call as well. Well, still have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time. I'm getting redundant now. Bye.